All right, guys, and welcome back. Today's video will be a shorter one. We're mainly just going to be discussing the new Guardian monster and what I think about him. He's really good, but I don't love the fact we're getting some visual glitch here on the screen. I don't love the fact that we're getting another banner, by the way. First thing I'll say is I expect to see a new update featuring a new banner, by the way, in 2 weeks. Well, specifically 16 days when these banners expire. That's what's most likely going to happen here because there won't be any banners live. Even the release gotcha is leaving, so there won't be anything live. So there will be something within the next couple of weeks. It could be next week, but I'd imagine they take the next couple of weeks off in terms of banners and then drop something in 16 days or so. That being said, let me know what you guys think it'll be. I am not excited about that though, because we just got Red Eyes, and the problem with Red Eyes' banner was that it was a grip of new cards. Look at all of these new cards, and more than half of them you really need in your deck to be able to run the Red Eyes deck efficiently, especially the SR cards. Obviously you need Red Eyes, but especially the SR cards. You need basically all of them. So, and if you've played this game and you've pulled on this game, you know how hard it can be. So like I couldn't really recommend Red Eyes to a lot of players unless you're going to be willing to spend money, because it's just really hard. I had 7,000 or so gems free to play, and I burned them all on that, specifically for Stray Lambs and Floodgate, by the way. I wasn't even trying to get Red Eyes, but in turn I did get 2 Red Eyes. And if you want to see my thoughts on Red Eyes, his deck, I changed my deck a couple of times in those videos, but I put out 2 videos, basically 2 hours worth of my thoughts and gameplay for Red Eyes in PvP. And I'll just say this as a general gist: I didn't love Red Eyes just because I don't think he's particularly great for 4-player mode, and there's a lot of nuance and things you need to know. You need to do some math on the fly a lot to know how you're going to win, because a lot of times you're not really going to get direct hits. His best deck is more so stall, burn, things like that, but he's crazy in PvE content. He's crazy in PvE. So speaking of a card that will be really good in PvP, we have Supreme Machine Magnum Overlord here. If I were to recommend one of these banners live, I'd probably say to go for this guy. And another thing that's cool about this guy's banner that we saw in the closed beta period, I've talked about this before in videos, but we haven't seen yet on launch, because we get general banners like this and we get a brand new archetype, which I guess this kind of fits the bill, but it's for new stuff as opposed to old stuff. We have some of the older stuff that's been in the game since launch, which you never really got a chance to get featured. So if you're trying to build the Leviathan Dragon deck or the Pendulum Dragon deck, this is a good banner to pull on for those monsters, because they're going to have those monsters and some other cards like you see here, Emergency Teleport, Vintage Tour. Those are featured cards, so they're going to have a higher drop rate overall, and you will have a better chance at getting some of these monsters and cards in this banner than if you were to come to this banner and pull. So if you're trying to get those cards or any of those cards that are featured, this is a good spot to pull. So let's actually take a look at what this guy does, right? Let's see what he does. So there's actually a number of recommended cards here. First and foremost, I really need Arya. She's really, really good in a Red Eyes deck because that slowdown. I almost want to pull just for her. But anyways, speaking of Red Eyes, he's in the pool now. So as you see, general pool cards down here. All of his new cards are on this banner, but you want to pull on Red Eyes' banner if you want to get Red Eyes, because he'll have a way better drop rate. That being said, our second Guardian monster in the game. So if you don't know what Guardian monsters are, they are monsters. It's only really him and Exodia, but they're monsters that take up their own 4th monster card slot. No other monster can go there but a Guardian monster. They can be used to tribute. They can also be used to defend your life points. Since they don't get played on the normal 3 zones, they cannot make their way down a lane. But all the other effects are still there, though. They have all their skills. They function otherwise the exact same. The only way they can battle, though, is if enemy attacks you directly, basically, and then it defaults to the Guardian monster as the extra monster zone. All right, so let's see what he has here. First and foremost, we have a beat stick here with 90. Well, he's not really a beat stick yet. He's got 1900 attack and 0 defense. So don't play him in defense position. He also has 200 attack. He has 4 of those. Okay. Defense boost. We don't care about that. He has an inventor. Okay. So he could be good in an inventor deck automatically because he has that. We have seal, apply negation to all skills on the opponent's monster. Okay. Upon battling. He has 2 detonates. Immunity to position change. Okay. So here's the deal. We'll look at his master skill and stuff, but monsters that have 0 defense, you need this. Okay. So automatically, automatically you need 2 dupes in this card. Well, a dupe, meaning 2 slots, automatically, because he's nowhere near as good if he could just be enemy controller. Raid stuff, anti-raid monster, okay. So let's see the special skill. So the special skill is only really relevant if he's not your ace monster. If you put him in another deck, like I typically do with Exodia a lot of the time. Attack becomes 3,500 at the end of the battle phase. So the turn you play him, he's at 19. That's not really relevant unless you have a monster threatening your life points, though. Deal damage to all opponents equal to your placement in the duel ×1. So he does, okay, he does burn damage. So he'd be a really good card just in the Red Eyes deck in general. Here's the deal. The problem with the Red Eyes deck is unless you're playing cards like Enchanted Hovelin or you're burning everybody evenly, things like that, you have to be really, really specific. It's really hard to get first place otherwise, because you're not going to be getting a lot of direct attacks, so you're not getting the life point bonus to get higher on the rankings overall. Sometimes you'll win first place with like 4,400 life points, for example, something stupid like that, meaning you barely got a bonus, but it was enough to win the duel and get first place. You're not getting first with like 8,000 most of the time, right? Or 6,000 up. You're not getting that most of the time. So evenly burning opponents is really powerful. So he does 100 minimum and 400 maximum, depending on your placement at the end of the turn, right? At the end of the battle, attack. Okay, hold on. Let me reread this. Attack becomes 3,500. So there's a period there. This is the first part. Sorry. So this is relevant always. The second he's played, his attack shifts to being 3,500 if you have this skill on. So next, at the end of the battle phase, sorry, I read this wrong. Deal these effects. So at the end of the battle phase, he'll do damage based on basically the end of the turn. Okay, so that changes my opinion on it a little bit. It's a lot better now. So let's see how the master looks. Attack becomes that, and so it's the same thing, but it's 200 more. Oh boy. So the difference is, though, you can't use this master unless he's your ace. So he's a burn deck monster, but you know, you have to play with him as your ace, and that's good and bad. If he had immunity to destroy, that would be really OP. If he had immunity to destruction, that would be really OP. The reason why is because since he's not a regular monster, he does not make his way down a lane. They've got to get all the way to you and through your monsters to be able to even battle this guy. And if he had that, oh my goodness. So yeah, and 3,500 is really good. So overall though, he's really powerful. And the thing about him is if you were to run his deck, it's not as high risk, high reward as Exodia, because Exodia automatically wins you the duel. So there's that. But Exodia makes you play all normal monsters, things like that you just don't really want to do. But overall though, doing that burn damage, I think for most people, if I'm being honest, like I said, you do want the immunity so he can't get popped easily anyway. But the caveat to this is, as I said, that he doesn't go down a lane. So since he doesn't have immunity to destroy, Blue Eyes can pop him regardless, so you don't have to worry too much about this. So like, you want this, but you don't need it, I think. If you're plugging him in as a tech card, I'll revisit my statement now. I'm gonna revise it. If you're plugging him in as a tech card in a burn deck, like there's a few, like the Trickstar, there's a few other ones, but like Red Eyes, because he's the most relevant and newest one, you don't need that. But this will be really nice. I think he's really nice actually to have. Yeah, I think you really want this guy in your deck. I think you do. Mainly because of the even burn across. Does this do burn? Select one player with the most cards, inflict 600. Yeah. Yeah, and then you also have this deck. Okay, so let me say this then. This banner is very nice as a supplementary banner for the Red Eyes banner. It's not really all too random as you would think. It's actually very nice as a supplementary banner for cards that can help you efficiently win duels with Red Eyes. But okay, outside of Red Eyes, I think you really do want that immunity. I think he really, really still kind of wants also immunity to destroy, but that's the same issue every other ace monster really has. 3,500 is a powerful monster. However, there could be times you want him on the board actually as a regular monster and you can't really do that. I wonder if emergency teleport can shift him. Can it do that? Hold on. It's even featured here. Select one of your monsters and teleport it to one of your... Huh. I bet you it can. Because why would it be featured here otherwise? I bet you it can make him go on the board. I need to try this with Exodia. But it doesn't say anything except for Guardians or anything like that, right? Does the Guardian have a stipulation on it? I can't see anything about that. It doesn't say. Interesting. I need to test that. Or if anybody has, let me know. But I was going to say, there are times you're going to want that strong of a monster on the freaking lane. You know what I'm saying? But overall, though, I think a very powerful card. However, on the grand scheme of things, I don't think you need him. I don't think you need him at all. I also don't think you should be overly worried about him in PvP, because most people are just running Blue Eyes anyway, and Blue Eyes can just clear him out, so you don't have to worry about that too much. But I think even with him in a Red Eyes deck, just getting 1 or 2 turns of that effect is actually extremely beneficial, just because even if it's just, like I said, 1 to 400 depending on your placing, that's extremely beneficial because, like I said, it's really hard to get direct hits and gain life points, right? So it's extremely beneficial in Red Eyes, or again, any burn stall deck. So we're going to conclude there, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.